Hello, this is DL, and this is episode 11 of Awareness of Thinking. Welcome. If you haven't already, please do like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. This helps me grow the audience and get these messages, this wisdom, out to more people who need it. Okay, we're going to start with a quote today by Adyashanti, another spiritual teacher. Enlightenment is a destructive process. It has nothing to do with becoming better or being happier. Enlightenment is the crumbling away of untruth. It's seeing through the facade of pretense. It's the complete eradication of everything we imagined to be true. This series, Awareness of Thinking, is about cultivating an awareness of what we think, and more importantly, why we think it. As I've stated, if we fail to develop this capacity, we will forever be at the mercy of those who know how and want to manipulate us. Knowledge is a great thing. Some would say that knowledge is power, but it isn't. If we aren't aware, knowledge will simply have power over us and not the other way around. Rather, awareness of knowledge is power. We have to be able to use our knowledge in constructive ways and be able to deconstruct and let go of that knowledge when it becomes an impediment to thinking, not just parrot it back like programmed robots. What I haven't really talked about in this series is how we begin. Knowledge is great, but as I've said, it isn't enough to simply learn about things like bias and propaganda or cognitive dissonance and gaslighting. We have to take accountability for our lives and put what we know to work. So how do we integrate this information for our own growth? We must each step onto the healing path, whatever that means to each individual. And what that may look like will likely contain variations and degrees of the following. Healing the body. I hope I've made it clear that it is unresolved trauma and fear that makes it impossible to cultivate awareness. We're always in the shadows of those traumas and fears, never quite grasping what's real. In other words, we believe the stories we tell and the thoughts we think to be our very selves. It's that mistaken identity. So one of the ways we can begin to heal is through examining not the traumas, like we're on the psychotherapist's couch and rehashing and reliving everything, but by examining, feeling, and releasing the associated energies, feelings, and perceptions in the body. We have to learn to become embodied. This doesn't happen by pumping weights or doing cardio or pushing the body. This happens by moving slowly, by becoming more conscious, learning where the body is shut down or shut off, awakening and reconnecting those parts into the whole. Healing the mind. We also have to face our fears. We hear this a lot, but no one necessarily ever tells us how. They just say, face your fears. So it starts with an inventory, and I've done a video about this. I will put a little suggestion for you to watch it. You have to know what it is you have to face. And that might even be enough for it to dissolve. Once you see it, you can deal with it. Or you may need to work a little harder. Most of us do. But it starts with that inventory. And then that inventory helps us to cultivate curiosity. And if we can cultivate curiosity, that will help you cultivate awareness. You'll begin to develop an inner impartial witness to your own thoughts. Healing of spirit. So we also need to face our shadows and limiting beliefs. The shadow, according to Carl Jung, are those aspects of self that we deny or repress. For example, no one wants to come across like a hateful person, but we all have the capacity to be hateful. This is perhaps the harder work, but also by far the most rewarding. We need to understand the spiritual laws of as above, so below, and the truth of oneness, which I recently spoke about in the mistaken identity video. Every positive aspect of your being has a negative counterpart. You have it all inside you. Anger means that something is important to you. You need to pay attention. Jealousy is an excellent indicator that we're not fulfilling or believing in ourselves. Here, the gene keys can be a really great benefit to you. This is the work of Richard Rudd, based on human design. The gene keys help you contemplate in great depth and detail the most basic human shadow aspects, as well as their higher frequency energies according to your date of birth. So it's very helpful work. You know, in some ways, spiritual healing is about getting right with God, whatever that word means to you, cleaning up that symbol so that it doesn't turn you off, or find another symbol that means the same thing. We've got to face our godlyhood and our God, whatever we've made of that energy. So there is no free pass around this stuff, I'm sorry to say. It has got to be done. The good news is that everyone who ever came before you has contributed to making the journey a little easier for you. And you will have done the same for anyone who comes after you. It's the greatest service you can offer to this world, to do your work. And there's plenty of support out there. I'm here, and there are others spread all over the world. We are so ready and willing to serve. So thank you for watching this episode of Awareness of Thinking. I will see you again. Bye-bye.